speak to John Scanlon, who is the Secretary General of CITES, the International Convention Against Animal Trafficking, joining me from that conference in Hanoi. Many thanks for joining us, John, this afternoon. Why has Vietnam become such a focus when it comes to wildlife trafficking?
Well, it's not only Vietnam. We're working right across the entire illegal supply chain, from source through transit to destination country. And Vietnam is both a transit and a destination state. So they've very generously agreed to host this week's conference, this high-level meeting on illegal wildlife trade. And it's allowed us to put a focus not only on the illegal wildlife trade, but also on what Vietnam is doing to help counter it.
I'm just looking at some numbers. In terms of meeting the country's demands, Vietnam that is, 330 African elephants and 23 rhinos slaughtered. I mean, those numbers are staggering. Why are these numbers so high? I mean, is most of it demand from China?
So what we've been confronting over recent years is transnational organized criminal groups have moved into this space, and they are targeting high-value wildlife species. So targeting elephants for their ivory, rhinos for their horn, pangolins for their scale and meat, and the rosewood for its timber. So we are confronting a difficult phenomenon here where transnational criminal groups, the same sort of groups that will traffic in arms or narcotics or in people, are engaged in wildlife trafficking. So that means we have to engage with the sort of agencies and individuals that are equipped to deal with this. The Interpol, UN Office of Drugs and Crime, World Customs Organization, etc. That's exactly what we're doing.
So what are they not doing in terms of Vietnam? I mean, they're hosting this conference, but we got a sense from that package by a reporter earlier that they're not doing enough. What should they be doing?
Well, I would say that every country has to do more. That's the starting point. And certainly here in Vietnam, as a transit and a destination state, we have a focus there this week. They have taken a number of measures to improve their laws. There have been a number of seizures. They're working on demand reduction to educate those individuals who might be inclined to buy illicitly traded wildlife. We do need to have a focus on going beyond seizures, that is to look at investigations, prosecutions and convictions, to target a little bit more specifically some of these demand reduction efforts, so really find out exactly where the demand is coming from and focus more effort on that, and the whole issue of international cooperation. So from the source state to the transit state to the destination state, working across that illegal supply chain. Now, I should say this is all underway, but we do need to persist, we do need to scale up, and we do need to do more. And that's the beauty of this conference. We have an opportunity here to focus on not only what we've achieved, but the many more things we need to do if we're going to win this fight.
Well, this is what I was going to ask you. I mean, I believe this is the third conference you've had on this specific issue. I mean, do conferences like this really make a difference in actually cutting down on wildlife trade?
Well, we just had, this is 3 conferences here, London, Kasane, and now Hanoi, which are really focused very much on political momentum in many senses, ensuring that we have a high-level political engagement and buy-in. The conference that was just held, the CITES conference just held in Johannesburg a month ago, where 3,500 people participated, is where the legally binding decisions were taken on what we need to do. It dealt with issues of corruption, dealt with issues of cybercrime, dealt with issues of use of forensics, issues to deal with how we more specifically target demand reduction strategies. So that was a conference where legally binding and very powerful decisions were taken. These events are very important in terms of the political momentum. But as I stressed in my speech this morning at this conference, this fight will not be won in the conference room. This fight will be won in the front line. That is with the rangers in the front line, the police officers in the front line, the customs, the parliamentarians, the prosecutors, the community members who are in the front line protecting their own wildlife. That is where it's going to be won or lost. So what comes out of this conference, the political momentum, the financing and everything else, needs to be focused very squarely on that front line, because if the action's not happening there, we're going to lose. The good thing is I think we are getting a good focus on the front line.
Okay, John, many thanks for your time. Appreciate you joining us today on TRT World. John Scanlon, Secretary General of CITES.